racing in VR is awesome, but streaming in VR is also awesome. So let's talk about how I set up my streams. I've been doing this YouTube thing for almost like 3 years, and I've been streaming for 1.5 years, and I'll show you all my settings that I use in applications so you can start streaming in VR as well. But before we get into it, people might say that it's not engaging, or you cannot really grow as a streamer because like in VR it's not working. I sometimes get 60 or 70 people in my stream. Maybe not world class, but it's good enough for me. So let's go into my workflow a little bit. Now, this is something you would see. And the first hack I'll tell you, make sure this small screen, like this small screen, is very small resolution. This is only 720p, 60 FPS. I used to do this in HD or like 2K, and it was a massive strain on my CPU. So keep it very low resolution as it's only a small image, right? So when I start a stream, you'll see this. And when I'm playing ACC, I have this ACC menu with all the sources over here. By the way, this is not a guide to explain you how to put in sources. There are different kinds of guides out there already. I cannot help you with this. I don't understand it myself half the time. So now I'm here. This is what I use for the menu. So if I start Le Mans Ultimate in VR, so I'll put on the headset. So if then here now I'm in the game, I would kind of like explain you something, then I would pick my menu. But if I wanted to race, I have a different menu. What I would use for VR is this one, however. Now you can see that this resolution is kind of scaled weirdly, but this is better for my VR as the recording from the mirror, the VR mirror that is displayed on screen, is actually on this eye, on the right side, on the right side from my perspective. So this way you get a better view on the cars. So here we are, and if I would like hit start driving right now, I would hit the button over here. It's black and white because I'm using the screen recorder. I think it looks pretty good. So if I drive like this, now you can see all my stuff. But what about chat? I hear you thinking, what about the chat? How can you read the chat? First step you need to do is in YouTube, take the chat off. Here's like 3 buttons here on top. You can take the chat off, and now we need to display this in VR. To do this, you need Open Kneeboard. And Open Kneeboard is such a freaking awesome application. Every display you have open, you can capture with Open Kneeboard, and you can then display and position it into your VR environment. So here you can see that I said hello everyone. Now let me show you a picture that I made from a headset so you can see that this chat box is actually on top of my VR environment. So I took this crappy picture in my headset because I don't know how to directly display it, but you can see here that hello everyone, that one is on top of my headset. So when I'm driving like this, I can look up and I can see people saying stuff, so I can respond immediately. Now let me explain you how to use Open Kneeboard, because I think the true gold is in Open Kneeboard. So let's say I would want to capture this, imagine I want to check my stream when I'm in VR. So I want to see how my audio settings go, what scenes I need to pick, what scene is active, and this way, let me show you how that would work. Hey, by the way, if you like this content, could you please hit that like button? That really helps me out. And check the links out down below. If you want to try racing in VR, you can use the links down below for a small discount. That really helps me out. And also you can return these headsets within 14 days of usage. So if you don't like VR, you can just bring them back. So let's open up Open Kneeboard again. And to do this, you need to create a tab. So you go to settings. After you install it, I will put a link down in the description. You go to tabs, right? You add a tab. Here I have my tab. I will add a tab. And now I will go for a window capture. And this window capture gives me every window that we currently have on Windows at the moment. So let's, this one is the one I believe. Capture this window. Here we go. So here we have OBS 64. This window is now captured. So what I do then I'll go to my virtual reality, and these are the tabs that I can open in my VR world. So let's add one, and let's call them independent. Independent. And now you pick this tab and you recenter. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm by the way, this doesn't work with Pimax in VR like in the world, so you need to open up your game basically. So I'll open up Steam. Now you can gaze zoom, so you can have a function that when you're looking at it, you need to, it gets bigger, but I always turn this off. Now you can change positions and everything, so let's make it in front of my face so you can see that it's actually there. So here we are. And here you can see in my headset that we have the stream on the bottom. And we go up, that is the actual game menu. And on top, you'll have the streaming, right? And again on the bottom. And so I can see my audio settings, really. And it's not that heavy on your CPU. It's okay. Now again, I can change this in every possible position. I can pull it towards me, I can put it away from me, but there's something else you need to understand. We need to recenter these bindings. So there is a setting on inputs, and you can see here on my Moza R9 wheelbase that I can recenter VR. So I can have a binding here. So this is super interesting. So button 23 that I have over here, that is my recenter VR. So if sometimes I sit in my car and I want to be a little bit more down, or I feel like the steering wheel is weird, I hit that button 23 and that also recenters the complete layout of OpenKneeboard. So if you're gonna sit in the car nicely and you hit that button, then all of a sudden my chat is aligned, my OBS stream is kind of aligned, I have my overlays, I have my adult films. Oh, no, sorry, no adult filming, but you can put in everything you want. Now, like I said, I have like a few things there to keep it simple for myself, but you could add a lot of overlays, third-party software, and you can just monitor everything. You could even like put a camera on like on a you could even turn a security camera from your house or from your sim rig room and see who's walking in your sim room. I mean, it's even possible. It's even possible. So, I know this is about streaming, but yeah, anyways. So, now in overall and all, this is just how I do my streaming. I have my keyboard here, I have a blind memory for the steering wheel, I have a blind memory for my buttons, I have the mouse here, you cannot see it. But yeah, I have the mouse here, it's blind, and I can completely operate and have this all overlord area and clarity on how my stream needs to operate. And the key is OpenKneeboard, so big shout out to them. Now you might wonder how much juice is this taking from your CPU and GPU. Well, let me be honest here. I run this kind of configuration with a 5800X 3D. And I gotta have to admit that that CPU is not really great for these kinds of tasks outside of VR gaming, which is already a massive task for your PC. So with the GPU that I run was a 4090, was absolutely great. I think you can do it on a 4080. I think you can do it on a 4070 Ti, but I think the processor is really important because there's lots of processing going on. But I don't think OpenKneeboard is that heavy. It's pretty light. So I think the streaming itself takes more of your GPU load than the few, like again, if you just have the chat and a few things, then it should not be that heavy for your GPU. I never found it to be really demanding on my GPU. So my current system that I have is a 5090 with the 9950X 3D. I can imagine that not everyone has the budget to get this, but yeah, it's super seamless, smooth, and 0 frame drops. So again, if you want to try VR, check the links down below. That would really help me out. Thanks for watching.